More job losses in the Northwest tonight. Starbucks' latest restructuring move affects more than 220 workers, including workers in Seattle. The coffee giant announcing today it is filing another warn notice for 104 support roles, 120 workers who declined offers to relocate to Nashville. Starbucks says this is not a new round of layoffs, but the final step in the restructuring it already announced back in May. The company says for now, coffee shops are not affected. This, as you know, is just the latest sign of continuing job losses across Western Washington. Other major employers, including Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Expedia, have also announced hundreds of local job cuts in recent months. Joining us tonight to discuss is Nick Huntington-Klein, an associate professor of economics at Seattle University. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, Seattle-King County's unemployment rate is about a half a point above the national average. This gap, what is it telling you with these job losses?
So we're seeing sort of a sustained issue where a lot of these, especially higher end jobs, are seeing these very big job losses. And this is due to a bunch of factors sort of all hitting us at the same time, right? If you listen to what these companies are saying when they file these notices, some of it has to do with the potential for AI to take the place of some of these jobs. Some of it has to do with overhiring during the pandemic period, where a lot of these tech companies hired huge amounts of people that it turned out that maybe they didn't actually want quite that many people in the long term. They'll also tell you things about increased taxes that we've seen in Washington State and Seattle specifically over time. And so we're seeing a number of reductions in force across a lot of these different companies that are all sort of concentrated in these similar sectors. Information technology being a big one. In the case of Starbucks, a lot of these were at a support center. So Starbucks itself, not really a tech company, but we're seeing similar kinds of jobs leaving the area or disappearing altogether.
It's interesting because we've seen a lot of jobs lost, but Washington added jobs in July. So explain to us how job growth and job cuts can happen at the same time.
Yeah, so all these job cuts that we're seeing from big companies, Microsoft, Meta, Starbucks, these are all very visible to us, right? And so when we hear that these jobs are going away, I mean, there is a harm to the local economy in that these are very high impact jobs. When one of these jobs goes away, that's a lot of spending by somebody who lives in the area that's not going to be there anymore. But they're not the only kind of jobs. Most of the jobs in Seattle are not jobs at these companies, and so it's entirely possible that we see growth in other areas that simply offsets or more than offsets the losses that we see at some of these bigger, more visible firms.
As you know, tech has really fueled Seattle's, really Western Washington's economy for decades now. Is that sector still a dependable engine for jobs? And if not, what is?
It's hard to say whether tech is going to be dependable going forward, right? We've seen this sort of slide in employment, both in Seattle and generally for tech. We certainly don't see the growth in the area that we were seeing in 2021, 2022. It's sort of leveled off or started to decline a bit. So the question is, where's the bottom? Right? These are still huge companies. These are still companies that are going to need to employ a lot of people. Are they shedding people right now and they're going to be done soon? Or is the slide going to continue? I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that.
How quickly do these kinds of job cuts affect small businesses, service workers, even home sales, which we also pointed out yesterday are down 15% nationally?
Because a lot of these jobs are relatively high paying, it means that when somebody has a job like this, they're putting a lot of that money back into the local economy by spending. Or especially in the case of some of these companies where the offices are downtown, when those jobs go away en masse, you're going to see a lot more difficulty for small businesses in the downtown area. And we've seen sort of reduced foot traffic in that area. It's going to be a hard time for all the small businesses that are there. It's been a difficult time for downtown recently, right? Mm-hmm. And so, the onset that we see is a lot of these jobs are spending money in small businesses. And so it's going to be sort of a secondary effect where if the people who had these jobs don't get similar jobs in the area because they move out or because they end up going to lower paying jobs, that is going to be a harm for the businesses that currently rely on spending by Amazon employees, spending by Starbucks employees, things like that.
The laid off tech workers and laid off workers generally, do they find more jobs in the region or do they generally leave the region?
In the past, well, we've seen a lot of people sort of sorting around between different tech jobs in the region, right? If you lost your job at Amazon, it was not that difficult to go and get a job at Meta or Zillow or some other place in the area. But with everybody seeming to have layoffs at the same time, I imagine this is going to be a lot more difficult to do this time. Whether those people end up leaving the area, that would be more of a new development, but it could well happen this time in a way that it hasn't happened in the past.
And also, they're leaving high-paying jobs. A lot of these layoffs were high-paid jobs. Are they finding jobs of equal income or not?
So very likely the people who are leaving these jobs are going to be looking for jobs in similar fields, right? Whether or not they're able to maintain the same income that they had before, it's hard to say. It's going to be different on an individual basis. We haven't seen a huge amount of people leaving these jobs and shifting into lower pay work, but it certainly is going to happen for some of them. So because, again, this is the first time we've really seen all these layoffs happening at once, it's hard to say, using history, what we think is going to happen to their pay. Because we're sort of in an unprecedented area for tech in that way.
All right. Nick Huntington-Klein, we always appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.